Hello everyone, welcome back to Resource Geography. Today we are coming up with one of the most popular beverage crop in the world, that is coffee. Coffee, scientifically termed coffee arabica, is a mild stimulating popular drink all over the world. It was first seen in the districts of Kaffa in Ethiopia, thus the name coffee has been given. Later on, it was transported to different parts of the world. According to the nature, characteristics and geographical distribution, coffee plants are of three major varieties. Coffee robusta is mostly grown on the lowlands of African plateaus. It contributes 15% of the global output. According to the volume of production and popularity, coffee arabica is the most important one and contributes 80% of the global output. It grows in the slopes of highlands. Coffee liberica is an inferior grade coffee and contributes only 5% of the global output. It is mainly grown in areas of Africa. Being a plantation crop, let's look into the necessary conditions for growth of coffee plantation. Overall, a climate with warm, humid and frost-free condition is necessary for the growth of coffee. Coffee grows well in warm climate. An average temperature between 20 degree to 27 degrees Celsius is ideal for coffee trees. Hence, low temperature, particularly frost, is harmful for the growth of coffee plants. As a tropical crop, coffee requires moderate to high annual rainfall. Thus, an average rainfall between 150 to 250 cm is necessary for the growth of coffee. Soils with iron and potash content increases the coffee productivity. Mountains or laterite soil are considered to be best for the growth of coffee plants. Like tea, coffee also grows well in well-drained soil where no waterlogging occurs. Hence, sloping surface in the mountainous areas are best suited for the growth of coffee plantation. Coffee is a shade-loving plant. To save coffee plant from scorching heat, banana and other plantains are also cultivated simultaneously. As a plantation crop, coffee cultivation is highly labor-intensive activity. Growing, collecting and processing requires huge number of labors. The plantation of coffee is a capital-intensive activity and hence requires huge capital from financial institutions. Good transportation network is a prime requisite for coffee plantation, otherwise the export may suffer. Coffee is cultivated mainly with an eye over the overseas market. Hence, any price fluctuation may hamper the cultivation badly. Coffee cultivation is essentially confined in the tropical and the subtropical regions between 20 degree north and south latitudes. The geographical distribution of coffee cultivation, however, had experienced several changes. Earlier, Arabian countries had supremacy in the famous matcha coffee cultivation. But after the introduction of coffee in West Indies, the Arabian supremacy did not last long. The colonial rulers, especially the Dutch, tried coffee plantations in their colonies. Gradually, the East Indies and later on Brazil became the outstanding producers of coffee in the world. Presently, the coffee cultivation is mainly concentrated in 4 geographical regions. South America, comprising countries like Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. This region contributes more than 70% of the global production. The Southeast Asian nations like India and Indonesia is another cluster of coffee plantation. Kenya, Uganda and Congo are the major producing regions of coffee in Africa. The Caribbean region comprises the countries like Mexico and Guatemala. Let's look into the top producers of coffee in the world. Brazil is the largest producer of coffee in the world. They account for 40% of the total world output. Around 2 million hectares of land are under the coffee plantation in the country. Volcanic terracotta soil, high temperature and rainfall throughout the year, good drainage system, cheap labor and good transportation network, and vast international market and export facilities favored coffee plantation in Brazil. The major producing districts are Sao Paulo, Paraná, Santos, and Minas Gerais. Vietnam is the second largest producer of coffee in the world, and they are relatively new in the international market. The coffee plantation was introduced in the country in 1800 under the French colonial period. Presently, Vietnam contributes 19% of the world output, and they mainly focus on coffee robusta bean. There are two major regions where the coffee plantation is highly concentrated: the Central Highlands and the Lamdang province. Colombia is the third largest coffee producing country. They contribute 9% of the total world output. Colombia is a poor country. The coffee exports earn a sizable revenue to the national income for the country. Volcanic fertile soil, well-drained mountain slopes of Andes and favorable climate provide facilities for the coffee cultivation in the country. The major producing areas are Bogota, Medellin, Manizales, and Tolima. Indonesia is the fourth largest coffee producing country. They contribute 6% of the world output. During the colonial period, Dutch planters first started coffee cultivation in the country. Sumatra and Java Islands are the famous regions for coffee production in Indonesia. Besides the above four countries, Ethiopia is the fifth largest producer of coffee in the world, followed by Honduras, India, Uganda, Mexico, and Peru, having in the first 10 positions of production. The other major producers are Kenya, China, Sri Lanka, Mexico, and Costa Rica. While looking into the world market, Brazil is the undisputed leader of coffee export in the world. It is one of the driving forces of the country's economy, earning a sizable revenue from coffee export. Vietnam is the second largest exporter of coffee in the world, followed by Colombia and Honduras. USA is the largest importer of coffee in the world. Besides USA, Japan, France, Germany, Russia, and UK are the other major importers of coffee in the world. I hope you had a great learning today. Thank you.